good morning, and good afternoon, depending on where you're joining us from today. Appreciate everyone here. Happy Friday. If you know me, you know that Fridays are my favorite day of the week because that's the day I always start planning for the weekend. I'm a last minute guy, not a big planner, but if I got on Fridays, I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do and how it's going to impact my business, right? So, I'm sorry I missed you last week. Hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. Um, Thanksgiving for us is pretty much everyone comes in on Friday. We don't do anything really on Thanksgiving Day except for our immediate family. And but family comes in on Friday, and then we have family come in on Saturday. So it's a big like weekend event for us. So I love Thanksgiving. It's a time to obviously thank everyone, be thankful for the things that have taken place over the past year, and kind of reflect on some of your relationships even. So it's also a time to eat. My gosh, we had so much food. For all you that cook out there, um, I deep fried a 16 pounder, and I also did for the first time a spatchcock turkey, right, where you cut out the backbone and you break the breastbone and you lay it all flat, throw it in the oven on high, like 450 degrees, and kind of monitor your skin color as you can turn it down because it only takes like an hour, hour and a half to cook the turkey doing that procedure. So that was really interesting. And I'm here to tell you probably the most juiciest turkey I've ever had, I think, in my life. Yeah. And I cook multiple turkeys. Um, I mean, I cook. So that was simply amazing. Even the next day, I had a couple pieces that I sliced off, put on a paper plate, throw it in the microwave to heat it up a little bit. And there's so much juices inside. I couldn't even obviously use that plate, but I was just amazed of just how juicy that turkey was. Cooking it on high temperature, short amount of time. It was amazing. Um, that was my opinion. I have family members that still, regardless of how juicy, how moist that turkey was, they just don't veer from deep fried turkey. They just don't. I inject the daylights out of them things too and deep fry them and let them set for a good 30, 40 minutes. You cut into them. I mean, juice just explodes out of them. So fun stuff. I know when it was over with, our last family members left. My wife and I sat down in a chair and looked at each other and gave each other, a fist pump, said we did it. And I mean, we were so exhausted. And then we realized that, oh my gosh, every year we always, help families out who can't buy Christmas gifts for their children. So we always, you know, Christmas adopt two children. So she was like, oh no, we haven't went shopping yet for the kids. So then we had to get up and go shopping and take care of that. And so we can turn all the gifts in on Monday there at the State Farm office in VV. So we appreciate you guys and props out to you for your help in that situation. We love that. So that was really my Thanksgiving. I mean, it was, from the moment that really Thursday took kicked in, it didn't end until Sunday, sometime around 8 o'clock when we finally got home. Um, and we're done, shopping, and it was just overly exhausting. But that evening, we reflected back and we were talking, we were laughing among ourselves and laughing about different things and different family members and things that they said or did. And so just joyful, right? Just brings a lot of joy into your life. So that was super awesome. Like I said, I cooked two turkeys, one deep fried, one spatchcocked. I also cooked a ham. We had like 10 sides. It was more food than, we ever needed to cook, but that's kind of what we do. Throw everything in freezer bags, See if there's anyone in the neighborhood or in the local community that needs anything. And that's kind of how we handle things. But back to business. Welcome to Creating Opportunities. I'm your host, Bill Haga. I'm an executive loan officer with Rocket Mortgage Local. I always stress local because of our local pricing is always a good 1%. Yes, a good 1% to 1.25% better than our call centers. So on a $500,000 purchase, your client would save roughly $5,000 or more if they came to me versus going directly to a call center. Okay, that's huge, right? We're trying to build locally. We're wanting Rocket Local to really drive the impact of local and Rocket. So those are our goals. We are the ones that get out in the community. We want to grow you as quickly as we can grow you, and make you, right, the boss lady, the boss man of the area, the county, and make sure that everyone knows who you are. All right, awesome. Today's agenda: Fed meeting 12:10, just right around the corner. Okay, let's talk about Fed meetings, right? The last time we got a quarter cut, we got a quarter cut, I think it was back in June or July. Um, so that's, 50 basis points there. And now here we're talking another 25 basis points. So overall for 2025, it looks like that we're going to see, a good 75 basis points has been cut off the rate for the year. And but let's talk this. I want to pack this a little bit. All right. I've had more questions about this than anything. Okay. So this is what happens. Everyone knows when the Fed meetings are happening because they're on the calendar. As we start getting closer to those Fed meetings, more people start talking about it. Okay. What happens is at that point in time, the market has already assumed. Okay. Let me say that again. The market already assumes that the feds are going to cut the rate. So once the market senses that, it already adjusts for that 25 basis points. Okay. And it may even adjust a little bit more. It may adjust, 0.375. Sometimes it may adjust a half, just depending on what the market's doing. And then when the Fed actually speaks, right, when Powell says, hey, we're going to cut them this, if it's in line with the market, right, the 25 basis points, there's a good chance rates are going to go up that day. Why? Because the market already baked that 0.25 cut into the rates. All right. This happens about a week or so before the Feds meet. Sometimes it's right after a Fed meeting because we just got a rate cut and they're talking about cutting rates again. All right. Sometimes the rates will dip then. But normally speaking, right, the rates go up the day that they cut rates, all because of the market. All right. Assuming that that rate is going to already be cut and it's already counted in the pricing. Okay. This is a hard thing for some people to understand because the live market sometimes overtakes what the Fed's doing. Okay. So if you have any questions on that, please contact me. I'd be happy to explain it to you in more detail, to make sure that you understand it, right? Because we are the educators out here. We need to be able to explain this stuff to our clients and, get a sense of urgency moving in them. And it's one of the toughest things to do in our position. So refinance rates are always lower than purchase rates. A lot of people don't know that, right? So a lot of people who have a 7% rate, they still think rates are only, are at 6.5. So no big deal. No, refi rates are a lot lower than that, right? So it could be, a good 1% lower than that. So if you've got past clients, who have, signed and closed with, any rate, I would say over 6.5 percent, have them reach out to me. Let's start talking to these clients. Let's find out if they're ready to purchase in the new year, right? Let's find out what their plans are. So this is about combing through your business. Okay. I talk about this all the time and every week. All right. So, like I said, we're expecting a quarter cut. We're definitely hoping for more in 2026. And we know the house prices are still going up, right? 2025 has been tough. Um, and that's the next thing on the agenda. I want to talk about wrapping up 2025. I want to talk about planning for 2026 and what's still hot. Okay. So we know the feds haven't really been aggressive with rate cuts, even though when they increase rates, mind you, our inflation was at 9%. So it's at 3%. So why are our rates still as high as they are? Right? Now, mind you, the government shutdown that took place, those 43 or 45 days, however long it was, um, stalled things. So there's data that we're still waiting to see during that time frame. Okay, because no data was collected. There was no one there sitting at that seat to do that job. All right. So I'm curious to see what these reporting are going to show. Hopefully, it's showing that our economy is still growing, just like it was prior to. If that's the case, I'm thinking 2026 is really going to be a breakout year when it comes to interest rates being dropped. I see a lot of people buying in 2026. I see more people selling in 2026 because, once again, rates are down. Um, it's tough to sell a home that you got a mortgage that's got a 3% rate on it, and you're going to sell it and go to a 5.5% rate. It's tough to do that. Okay. Financially, that's why would you do that? You only do that if you're being, moving with a company or some kind of health issue or family emergency or something, right? That's the only time you're doing those things because you're going to keep that lowest rate, lowest payment, build equity faster. All right. That's what all that stuff does for us. All right. So wrap it up 2025 strong. Here we are, December 5th. And I mean, this year's pretty much over, right? I have some closings in December, 4 or 5. If you've got a client, we can still close by the end of December. Um, that shouldn't be any issue at all. We're still closing, loans in 15, 20 days. And based off of that, we've got time. So if you're trying to get one in before the end of the year, give me a call. I'd love to help you with it. All right. So sometimes when you're wrapping up a year, you really want to just be done with it, right? So some of our numbers have been down since last year. And I mean, let's kind of reflect, right? 2025, home prices continue to rise. We didn't get any interest breaks, right? We got a whole whopping 75, and that really came, the last half of the year, for to make up a 0.5%. A 0.5% is quite a bit, but we need them faster. Okay, so hopefully that's what 2026 is going to bring us. But it's about wrapping up 2025 and move on to 2026 as quickly as personally I can. I'm ready to move on. I'm done. So I'm preparing and I'm prepping right now for my 2026 season, right? Getting all my stuff ready and laid out. So let's talk about 2026 goal setting. Are your goals smart? Okay, let's talk about being smart. As we look ahead to 2026, now's the perfect time to start setting goals, right? That will actually move our business forward. Okay, that's a key. All right, we want to move forward. All right, one framework has helped me along the way was leveraging SMART goals, and we're going to talk about SMART goals. So S for SMART is for specific. All right. Be clear about exactly what you want to achieve in 2026. Okay. I want to sell 24 single family homes in the city. I want to close on 10 investor properties. I want to start building my investor portfolio. Okay. These are, you know, the specific piece. All right. M for smart is measurable. All right. You got to make sure you can track your progress. If you can't, how do you know where you're at, where you need to go, what you need to change in order to get there? Okay. It's got to be measurable. Okay. For example, um, you're going to generate 100 new qualified leads in 2026. I'm going to average 8 to 9 per month, right? Coach Ellis taught you many, many, many ways of creating a lead. Okay. Just go back, implement those same things, and remember what gets scheduled is what you focus on. So everything needs to be on your calendar. I do the same thing. I call or coordinate my calendar even. Okay. Just so I don't miss anything. So you want to add this to your calendar. On Mondays, I'm going to do this. On Tuesdays, I'm going to do this. All right. Make sure it's manageable. Make sure it's feasible. All right. So that's the measurable piece. All right. The A in SMART is for achievable. Set a goal that challenges you, but is realistic. Right. Once again, if the goal's set too high, then it's not realistic. It isn't going to motivate you. It's probably going to deflate you, right? Because it's a number that you can't reach. All right. It's about reaching goals, patting yourself on the back, allowing you to uplift your spirits, right? Your whole mindset. So then you go out and then talk and educate, and it just all spews out of you at that point in time. It comes across very natural. Okay. R in SMART, relevant. Oh, let's go back to achievable. I'm sorry. A for achievable, right? So I will grow my business, my closing transactions by 25% in 2026. All right. So you actually do the math, right? I close X amount of homes in 2025. I want to grow that by 25%. You're writing all these numbers down, okay? Because you got to keep track of this, right? This is the part that you have to measure. So you have to track it in order to measure it. All right. So then at the end of the year, you can see if you achieved your achievable of 25% growth. All right. R in SMART is for relevant. Your goal should align with your business priorities. All right. An example, I will increase my referral business by 30% because past clients generate consistent sales. All right, let's talk about this right quick because this is one of the things that I'm doing this whole month of December, getting prepared for my 2026. Okay. I believe that mail merges are extremely important and an easy, quick, efficient way to get a lot of information out to a lot of people in a short period of effort, right? Time. So, what I'm doing, I'm building my email merging list. So I'm going to have Real Estate Ladies Rock as a group. I'm going to have all the other real estate um, professionals that I work with outside the group on another list. I'm going to have builders on a list. I'm going to have past clients. I'm going to have current clients. I'm going to have divorce attorneys. And I'm going to have um, the financial consultant piece. All right. So I'm going to add first name, last name, and an email to make it easy for the mail merge. Okay. So I'm setting everything up for 2026 to be more efficient, reach out to more people, get more information out, be more of an educator that I already am today. All right. By doing that, I'm saying my business is going to grow by 25% because I need to be consistent with that. If I'm consistent with that, then that's what I think That's how much business it should generate me. Okay. All right. T in SMART stands for time bound. Set a clear deadline and milestones. Example, I will grow my Instagram following to 5,000 by June to boost lead generation. Okay. I don't have I think I have an Instagram, but I don't use it. Okay. So this is another opportunity, another pond, if you will, that I can go fishing in. I just need to do it. Okay. Problem is time, right? All this stuff takes time. But the good thing is, excuse me, once it's set up, the next time you go to do it, it takes 10 minutes, right? So on my calendar, right, you got to schedule what you want to focus on. Okay. So in my calendar, every week, Monday, I'm going to send out this to this group. Tuesdays, I'm sending this, or I'm going to send out one to each group on Thursday, right? I think I saw some study that Thursday um, had, better numbers when it came to opening emails. Okay. So you want to make sure that you're actually getting in contact with these people, right? So that's SMART, right? Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. Okay. So this is how I'm preparing for my 2026. I'm looking at my different levels of business where I want to grow each thing. Um, I want to look at some things that I did in 2025 that didn't generate any business, right? We have that. I got some things out there that work and some things that don't work. Miranda and I are trying some different things together, right? We're doing some mailings. Want to see if we can't pick up a couple loans a month by doing those, right? 9 out of 10 times, it only takes one closed loan to pay for any marketing stuff that you got going on. So I challenge you to dive into your list, create your list, get your goals set for 2026, and let's see what we can do together, right? Contact me. Let's set up some kind of meeting. Let's go through your business. Let's go through my business, what I've got here that can help you generate more business, close more loans. I mean, that's what we do. Okay. All right. So that was planning for 2026. All right. What's still hot? All right. We're still closing loans. We're still actually breaking records. It's December. Okay. Our November broke records from years past, months past. Like I said, we're still breaking records. We're going into December expecting to break December's record. All right. So I know some of you are slowing down. Let's figure out a way to keep busy, right? Unless you're trying to slow down. Some of us work so hard, we take December and say, wow, I need to kick my feet up a little bit. I need to breathe. I need to regather my thoughts, and I need to start planning for 2026. No worries, right? Planting a seed in December will help you in January, February, and March, right? So, what's still hot? Rocket Mortgage is still hot. I can tell you that. Our free 1.0 temporary rate buy down is steaming hot. Okay. For example, and I'm just throwing a rate out there. Okay. If your client gets a 6% rate, they lock in at, they're going to get a 5% rate for the first 12 months. Now, mind you, I've locked rates lower than that. Okay. I actually locked a 5.375% in, and that particular client is getting a 4.375% for the first 12 months of the payments. Are you kidding me? She is stoked. She can't believe it. That's saving her almost $300 a month. A month. That's allowing her to buy Christmas. temporary 1.0 buy down on us. That's a lender credit. Okay. That's conventional, and that's on FHA. That's on VA. So come on now. Let's get some business rolling through here. And especially these clients are on the fence, right? If you had a mail merge set up, you had your list, your Excel spreadsheet with everybody on there, and within just 5 minutes, you can send an email out to 500 people. You're liable to get 4 or 5 off of that, right? 1 or 2. That's what all this is about. Okay. Moving into 2026, it's about being more efficient, freeing up more time, and doing more business. Okay. I think that's huge. Okay. Our VAL, verified approval letter. That means our underwriter has underwritten our client. Please tell me anywhere else that you can just send your client into underwriting. Some do, very, very few. Okay. 9 out of 10 times, it's that loan officer, like myself, reviewing those documents. And based off of what we see, we issue and we run everything through the automated system to get the approve eligible. And that's what allows us to print that pre approval letter. Now, with that being said, that's not an underwriter. An underwriter is the one who makes a decision if your client is approved or not. So that's what we've done. We moved the underwriting process to the front of the line, and now we're underwriting your clients before they even have a contract. Let me repeat that. We're underwriting your clients before they get under contract, right? Just sit there and think about that for a second. All the guessing, all the anxieties, all that come with that. Now you have an underwriter that says, our client's good. All we need is property, an appraisal, and title. If we get those three and all three of those come back clean, guess what? We're closing in 15, 20 days. That's impressive. Okay, who doesn't want to get paid in 15 days versus 30 days? I know all you bosses. That's an easy one, right? So help us help you, right? I've got some boss ladies that say to me in October, Bill, I am slowing down. I am not getting the business that was coming in. And now I'm a little concerned about my December. Okay. Let's find you a buyer in December. We can still close loans. I can close loans in 15 days. All right. We've got some holidays in here, right? So I may need 17 days. However, there's still time on the clock to get you a last one in. Okay. That's what we're shooting for. Let's get one more in by the end of the year. Let's wrap up 2025, say goodbye to it. We'll use it, right? Learning experience. We'll pull what's good and we'll learn from what's bad. But we'll move on to 2026 and be much better, right? Rent rewards. I can't, this is one of my favorites. I know it's Miranda's favorite. Just for renting, we're giving a lender credit to help with down payment and closing funds, right? So let's say your rent's $3,000. Whatever your rent is, you multiply it by 12 to get the total year, right? So 3,000 times 12 is 36,000. Then you take 10% of that. So 36,000 times 10% equals 3,600 bucks. So we're going to give a lender credit to that client for 3,600 bucks that can be used towards down payment or closing money. Just because they're renting. I can't say that loud enough. Yep, Miranda and I are all over this piece. If you want to know how to aggressively chase this business, contact me. Okay? We figured it out. We've got it out. All right, it's already out there. So, good stuff. We also brought on my favorite investment program, the DSCR program. All right, this is perfect if you're an investor. All right. We don't need to list any employment. We don't need any income documents. I don't need your tax returns. I don't need any of that. The property, the income coming off the property needs to be able to cover the mortgage payment, all the debt for that particular property that month, right? So if income off the properties, $3,000 and the cost for that property's $3,000, property qualifies. Okay. All you need to do is qualify based off your credit. Can't have more than 20 properties, and you got to have money, right? Funds to close. Because in these programs, you need a good 20 to 30% down payment in order to qualify. Okay. But that's it. Everything else is based off the rents. It's huge. Love that program. I've been selling this program for many, many years now, and it is hands down my favorite program out there. I love working with investors. Um, their their minds work a little differently, right? So it's always nice to hear what somebody else is doing, another angle, another little niche, right? That you can pass on to somebody else that's within your sphere. So, like I said, hands down, DSCR is my favorite investment program. But those are the programs that are hot right now. These are the programs that are driving us to, once again, another record month coming this month in December. So in 2025, we have grown our business a good 25, 30%, if not more. Huge. Okay. We brought on more programs, more ways to qualify our clients, more ways for us to partner up and collaborate. I'm super excited to get this builder thing kicked off for 2026. I got some good insight on that we'll probably talk about next Friday. And we'll dive into some new construction and things like that. Okay. That's all I've got. I appreciate everybody's time. If you need anything over the weekend, I will have my phone and laptop on like normal. If you need to reach a loan officer outside of hours, I don't have any set hours. Are you kidding me? I'm a boss. We don't have hours. We have time that we step away, right? But we're always on. Okay. So if you need anything and you can't get in contact with your normal loan officer, feel free to call me. I'd be happy to help you. Okay. That's all I've got for today. Thank you. Um, let's meet up. Let's get together and plan our 2026. All right. Have a great weekend, everyone. Let's get them under contract. Take care. Have a great weekend. Bye bye.